Welcome back to another great episode of Midnight Mayhem. I'm today's host. I'm Leo and I Love Movies.
I'm Bob and I Love Horror.
And I'm Raymond in the opposite direction.
And in this week's episode, we're talking about a cult classic from 2006, Slither, directed by James Gunn.
Yes.
Nice. James Gunn.
Nice. I'm sure I got that simple fact on the movie that I'm hosting.
Thank God. No, because I was talking to Raymond, I was like, who's the director for this movie? I know it was either like James Gunn, James Wan, or
one of the many Jameses.
One of those Jameses. But
right off the bat, is it an intro level horror? Like, do we want our nephews and nieces watching this? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
This is for this is very much
intermediate level horror.
Yeah, it's
very
smutty. It's
yeah.
smutty horror. I would say it's it's for the for the spectacle and the enjoyment of it.
Smutty?
Yeah,
What
it's
do you mean by
it's
smutty?
It indulges itself.
like B movie. Kind
Yeah.
of thing? Okay.
I know smutty can be interpreted another way, but
Yeah.
I think you understand.
Knowing you.
Yeah, but I imagine I feel like the audience understands how I meant it.
I feel like it's intermediate
if you watched it.
to a lot of people.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people won't like this movie.
I was watching it,
yeah.
and then I was like, oh, I'm probably, like, I remember this movie. Like, it was fine or whatever. I was like, because it's a comedy horror, right?
Right.
Yeah, very
So
much.
I was
yeah.
watching it, and I was like, oh, yeah. But then I remember, like, certain scenes, I was like, this is good. Like, this is, like horrifying. Like, if you saw Stallone and, like, you put yourself in that scenario, you're like, that's scary.
It
like,
does have some gross scenes, man.
Oh yeah, I want to hear more about that. I just went into it just watching it because I've never actually seen this movie.
Really?
Yeah, really. I've only seen the first 5 minutes, if that, all the way up
it
to the
doesn't
part.
pick up till 30 minutes in. So.
Literally the part
Fine,
when right after it was right basically when he starts when he gets back to home to his wife. I only seen up to that part.
Okay. All right.
Just because it was on TV, started watching it. I was flipping through the channels. I was like, "Hey, Merle from Walking Dead," and then I stopped, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna watch it." And then something happened, I just stopped, and I was like, "Oh, I'll watch it eventually,"
Yeah,
and it
speaking
never
of
did.
commercials, shout out to Tubi because
Oh my
thank
God.
God.
Saved
Oh
us.
my
Saved
God.
us our lives, man.
we were able to record 2 hours earlier because we were able to watch this by ourselves.
Great movie. Great effects. Very cheesy, but for the right reasons.
I don't think
If
it was
it-
super cheesy.
It wasn't
pretty-
super cheesy,
it's pretty
but
cheesy.
it's cheesy. But like, come on, like the movie literally starts off with an asteroid just burning through the atmosphere, heading to Earth. Right away, you're like, this shit's about to be cheesy, you know?
It was the jokes before the asteroid landed. It was like, that's why I was like, "Oh, this is gonna
What
be."
was the
That's
jokes?
It was just the officers talking to each other.
Yeah,
I don't
he was
remember
like,
the joke.
Oh,
he's a
yeah.
speed
That's
gun.
yeah.
That's
the
how
bird,
fast.
he's
That's
like,
how
"Oh."
fast the bird goes.
He's like 29 miles. Like, I thought it'd be faster. So you think it'd be faster? He just looks at him. He's like, I thought it'd be faster. Maybe like 31, 32 miles an hour.
Yeah, see, that literally set the pace, and then the meteor crashes behind him. And I don't even notice.
Right.
But yeah, if I would say if you're squeamish, I mean maybe pass on this one. But if you're not, and you want something that's kind of that horror
Like
comedy,
body horror.
yeah, horror, just it's a horror comedy.
Some Cronenberg stuff going on.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Hell yeah.
You go into this with the intention of having fun with it, but not to take it like too seriously as like
Yeah.
the horror genre.
It gave me some Feast vibes where it's like, don't
Yeah,
eat one
yeah.
more piece.
It's funny because right after on Tubi, right after you finished
Yeah,
watching it, it was
suggested
Feast,
Feast.
and I was like, yeah.
And it was funny too that I noticed. I was like, we just finished recording Coraline, and who's in this movie? Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Fanning was in this movie.
Yeah,
Where was she?
I don't think she was.
I'm pretty sure she was.
I don't remember. Her.
Is she not?
I don't know. I don't think so.
The we're itchy. She's not one of them.
Is she?
I
one of
don't think
those?
so.
I'm
Hold
pretty
on.
That'd be
sure. I'm
hilarious.
pretty sure, dude. I swear to God, the whole time I was like, wow, that's a cool coincidence that she's in this movie. I had no idea she was in
I
it.
think she was a little blonde girl, but that part was hilarious.
Oh, come on, bro. That's no.
No, it wasn't her.
You're lying.
No.
Who's that actress then? Because she looks exactly like her.
Zach Ludwig?
Is it-
You're
huh?
talking about the little girl,
Gina
the
Kid?
sister, the little sister.
No, the little. Remember the little two blonde girls?
No, I remember you talking
I
about.
don't think they're even like they're probably credited, but they're not like on the site.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me look it up real quick.
Oh
Wait,
my
while
God.
he's doing
I
while he's
look
doing
up,
that,
let's go ahead and give our ratings on that.
Okay, sure. I remember seeing this movie a long time ago as a kid. It was freaky when I saw it as a kid. I remember when it was coming out in theaters. Fun fact: this movie came out. What month did it came out? I know it came out in 2006, but it came out in when this movie was coming out, there was a bunch of other movies that I wanted to see in theaters. This came out around the same time that Scary Movie 4 was
Oh,
coming
the old
out.
scary movies.
Yeah, but Scary
I was
Movie
like,
4 was
which
coming
one?
out.
Okay,
4, the one with the War of the Worlds.
Yeah, yes.
So I was like, I want to see that one, but I also want to see this one. This one looks cool. At the time, I wasn't even 13 at the time. I think it was like 12.
Mhm.
So I couldn't even like go into see Scary Movie 4. You know, and that was PG-13. Let alone this
Yeah, this
this mess. Also around that time, Constantine was coming out. The first remake of The Omen was coming out.
No, she wasn't in that.
You're lying, dude.
That's fine. Keep
You're
going.
lying. I'm gonna
First-
put a
first-
picture on top right there, and you're gonna say she looks exactly like her.
You just put the wrong picture. It's the little girls from The Shining.
I know, dude.
Where
that's her, dude.
Where itchy, Zach?
That's
Or
crazy.
Jack?
Anyways, they didn't see it in theaters, but I did see it when it came on TV one time. Started watching, I was like, this is awesome, you know. But obviously, you know, like I was watching it in the family room, and I was like, I can't watch this with my
Yeah.
parents around, so
Yeah.
so
No.
I over the years I've caught little snips of it, like from beginning,
Little
middle, and
slithers,
end,
will
you
you?
know.
Yes.
But I never seen it like throughout until now, actually. And I say it for the time, it holds up. It holds up pretty good. I'll give
I
it
think
a.
a lot of James Gunn's movies they're just well executed.
Oh
They just-
yeah,
they just
yeah,
work.
definitely.
They work because he doesn't take them seriously. Like even
Well, I was watching a thing about this where they were talking about like the special effects and stuff. And like, yeah, we want to make it like as iconic as like Aliens. I was like, yeah, no,
well, no,
No, yeah, but they very much knew that they were going for like that.
horror comedy.
Yeah.
yeah, no, most definitely. But it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny because like the movie that James Gunn did before this, he was coming straight like fresh out of Scooby-Doo 2.
That explains the frosted tips.
Yeah, he was coming straight out of Scooby-Doo 2. But I would say this is his first horror movie. I'm not sure if he has any other horror movies under his belt.
No, you're the movie guy, so
I know,
if
but
anything comes to mind.
was he the one that made that Superman kind of horror movie?
Brightburn or
Br-
Burn
Burn
something.
Bright?
That was produced by James Wan, I believe.
Are you sure?
I feel like you're
I'm
right,
not.
but while we figure
It
that
was
out,
produced, yeah. No, it was he was the producer on it.
Yeah.
But he didn't direct it.
You're talking about James Wan or James Gunn?
James Gunn.
Hmm.
Yeah, like he's the one that
And now he's
produced it.
making Superman.
He's made a bunch of he's made like from I would say the first part of the 2000s, like the first decade, all the cult classics from that decade, it was just James Gunn.
Yeah.
James Gunn. Like you got Scooby-Doo. Dawn of the Dead, he was a writer. He didn't direct it, but he was the writer for Dawn of the Dead, the remake. You got the Belko Experiment. You guys remember that one?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
It's on my
so
list to
good.
watch.
Yeah.
It was really
It
good.
very much seems like something I would love.
Yeah.
I just have not had a chance to watch it.
I know.
But no, yeah, Brightburn.
And
it says
Brightburn,
it
yeah.
says he directed it. Our CEO of DC Studios, James Gunn. Yeah, it just says on his repertoire.
No.
Guardians, of course.
Mhm.
Dawn of the Dead.
Writer.
Yeah, so
hmm
yeah, he has a couple good horrors on his belt.
So ratings?
I give it a solid 8 out of 10.
I'll let you go because I feel like mine's gonna be the roughest.
I would
What
I
the
would I
fuck?
would say like 8 out of 10 as well because I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna be 7. I was watching. I was like, oh, maybe I'll give it like a 7 out of 5. And then I was watching. I was like, I did like this movie.
What? We have the same rating?
Yeah, nah, I'm like 7. like I was
baby.
I was
The way
leaning
you said
towards
you're
like,
yeah 4. I was like, oh
no,
man.
I was thinking like 6.5.
When I was watching this, I was having a bad day.
I really was trying not to let that affect
Came
my.
home, kicked a cat.
No, I would never.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Where'd all those dogs go missing? You're just like, oh, Bobby took one of them.
A couple scenes like lighten my mood. It was pretty. Like some scenes were pretty funny. That I was like, okay, that was good.
Yeah.
One line that I thought was just like super funny was when Nathan Fillion's character sees Elizabeth Banks at the dance,
hmm
and then his partner goes like, "Oh, I'm surprised you're able to hold a beer with that torch you've been carrying for so long." Say, I mean to tell you something. Like, shut up.
Yeah, he's like, fuck you, man.
So yeah, reasons for ratings. You want to go into it at all?
it's just a fun movie there, and there was a lot of scenes where I was like, that's like super, like just genuinely terrifying. If you were in that situation.
Maybe not
I wanna
terrifying,
hear
but
about
really
that right after
uncomfortable.
this.
The ones, two things. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but two of the scenes that were like actually I thought were like actually scary were with the girl. Her name was Kylie. So when she's in the bath.
Oh, right.
So when she
Okay.
leaves and she sees her family,
Oh yeah.
that's terrifying. And
Yeah.
then the other one was getting in the car and being surrounded.
Surrounded. Yeah.
both with her and yeah. Okay.
You missed an important part of that, dude. That I thought was
What
terrifying.
part of I'm not going.
We're not
into
going into details.
We can go into details
Right
later.
after this. Right after
It's
this.
your episode. If you want to go into details, we'll
That's
go
your
into
call.
details.
Yeah. For me, super fun, enjoyable movie. It just some of the CG just threw me off. I was like,
2016,
yeah. Some
I
of
was
the
like-
CG was kind of
like the prosthetics that were in the movie were like prosthetics, but like the practical effects in the movie were like, oh, that was sick.
they were a notch.
Yeah,
right?
and I was like, because this is supposed to be like like I said, a schlocky movie. I was like, I'm okay with the CG. It's not the greatest movie. Like I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but it is a fun watch, and I would watch it again. And I would recommend it to people. But like, you want to watch something kind of Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Hey,
So-
you haven't eaten yet, right? You wanna watch a movie?
Yeah. So and it doesn't hold any like nostalgia for me. So I'm just like I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't necessarily scary. The horror aspects of it were fun. It's just a fun movie. So yeah, I mean that's it. So that's my reason.
For me, it wasn't really for nostalgic purposes because it's like I just remember certain snips of this movie. There was a scene that I remember watching as a kid. And I was like, I gotta turn this shit off.
No, there was a couple of scenes, and there was one scene where I was watching it, and then my family like walked in, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna pause for a second, and then let them pass through. And I was
Which
like,
scene? Which scene?
It was right when Merle's wife, Brent, right? Is the name of the character Brent?
I think so.
Grant's
yeah.
character is already
Full indulged.
yeah. Well, his wife tries to make it up to him,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Oh,
this might be too saucy. And I paused.
That's the part of the movie where I was like, oh, it's make believe.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
the part at the beginning of the movie, he's like, oh, like yeah, like let's have sex. It's been so long, and she's like, I'm not in the mood. And I was like, damn, this is too real.
Too real.
And then the next part of the movie,
Hereditary. Too real.
the next part of the movie, she's like, oh, I feel so bad. Like I just want to make it up to you. It's like, oh, so it's a work of fiction. So it's all made up.
So from here on, we'll go into spoilers, but I think we should probably take a minute and then go into the next portion. But you're the
Sure.
host, so you can tell me.
Yeah, sure. I mean, just to finish that section off, I love the effects on it. You know, it has some cheesy jokes, but some jokes do land.
Yeah, they
pretty
land
well.
really well.
I like a lot of them. I was like, damn, Nathan Fillion.
Yeah,
You're so charming.
back then, you know.
Hey, even now.
Yeah, even now. But I mean, overall, the movie's like extremely entertaining. Like it's like no matter if you're like a fan of this, like you're entertained. You know.
Yeah, it's just definitely not for everybody. I can see
No,
people
hell no.
seeing a scene and be like, like,
Yeah.
like no,
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
doing this. Like turn it off immediately.
But I
That's
feel
how
like people are too soft. Like I just saw an article for a new movie coming out called Vicious something. You know what I'm talking about? It's a
talking
movie that
about
takes place through the perspective of the
Of the
killer.
killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, like audience allegedly threw up while watching this movie. I was like, people are too soft.
That's what they said about watching Paranormal
They
Activity.
said that about everything.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
That's just
you threw up watching
marketing.
this movie.
Remember Evil Dead Rise? People were going nuts. Like it's like, oh, people are fainting in it. And I was like, we watched it. I was like, and then I got mad.
Yeah. And you can tell. Go watch that
Yeah, I got-
episode. Hear how angry Leo sounds.
I was just talking to someone about that movie, and I was like, I felt like the movie was pulling punches. She's like, how? I was like, I guess
Just
that's
tattoo her eye. Like, just do it. Anyway, we'll be back.
We'll be back.
be back. She's like, they literally crawled inside her. How could they have pushed it any further?
That's just family bonding.
And we're back.
All right, can I talk about something I like that I just like about horror movies? Oh, it happens in a lot of films, but I just like it in this one specifically.
Yeah, and then at a certain point, I think we should start talking about the movie. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just love how when directors bring like actors that they work with in the past.
It's always
back.
fun.
Yeah,
it's so
it's
fun.
fun.
Yeah,
It's because
Uh,
it's like you could tell, like, oh, like they liked working with them.
yeah.
To the
So
point where they're like, oh, that's
Yeah,
fine.
and on
So
top
we-
of that, they have roles created for these characters, these
yeah,
actors. You know,
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Because horror specifically, it's not it's a big genre. It's very vast, but you'll very much notice repeat of like certain horror actors. They'll come back for stuff.
Yeah.
So I when I saw that Michael Rook, Merle, or Yondu in this, I was like, James Gunn. I didn't realize James Gunn had directed it until I was watching it, and I was like, hey, Yondu. I was like, that
They
makes
realize
sense.
half of the
Everything
cast for
makes
Guardians
sense,
is in
yeah.
this movie.
Yeah, but I was just like, that's
Like
cool.
when you see all the dead animals, like, there's Rocket.
Another example. Take a second. for like another horror director that has done that, like is like James Wan and Patrick Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Like he's in Aquaman, but he's also in Insidious.
Yeah.
It's like this is
He
fun.
always has lead roles in all his
But
movies.
I do have a little bit of a fun fact. So the character named Brenda.
Mm-hmm.
So her character, and then she's also her name is Brenda, the actress.
Oh, I didn't realize
So they
that.
were looking for an actress for her, and he's like, nobody's fitting the role.
Yeah,
And she
this is
comes
funny.
in and she's like, she's perfect. He's like, oh my god, like you're perfect for the role. Like it's yours if you want. And she's like, yeah, I'll take it. And then he was like, yeah, like she didn't read the full script.
She only read the first part where they meet Grant in the bar.
Oh.
and she didn't know what prosthetics were. So she was like, oh, like I'll let me read the full script and
On
see
the
what I got
flight
into. Yeah,
to-
flight to LA.
Oh my god, dude.
So the Brenda ball, like she didn't know that was part of her character.
What?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
She walked into
Yeah.
it.
That's
So
awesome.
if you look at some of the behind the scenes where they're talking to her, and like they have like 4 people puppeteering like her arms and stuff. Yeah, she was like,
She
I
said
guess, like I already agreed to it.
she
That's
started
awesome.
crying on the plane right down.
Yeah, she's
That's
like,
awesome.
silently
Halfway down.
sobbing.
Imagine just like being
You
like,
did great. You did great.
Yeah, like if someone was like, oh hey, like I love you guys' podcast. You guys want to be in a movie? Like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And they're like, all right, 16 hours of makeup, 2 minutes of screen time.
you're gonna be pegged the
and
entire
you guys
time
are
around
gonna make,
screen.
and you guys are gonna make out with each
You
other.
guys are
Like,
gonna
wait,
be
what?
So the movie's called Human Centipede 4.
Damn it.
But also it's 4 people, so we're gonna need one.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a friend.
3 friends.
Yeah.
The but yeah, I imagine that's what it was like when
Yeah.
she read that.
Oh.
There was a lot of the special effects, the behind the scenes were a lot of fun. I think if I remember correctly from the special features, they had talked about using like over 600 practical, like what is it called, for the little dolls or for the slithers, the monsters themselves,
Yeah.
models, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, there was like over 600 of them for it. Even though there is a lot of CG, they had to have a lot of
That's
practical
cool.
stuff. Yeah.
Which is funny because like most
it's,
of the
So this is from what you sent me. It says there were nearly 500 different prosthetic parasites that were made for Slither. It was like on screen, though most of them were computer generated.
that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Yeah, it's funny because like all of them seem to be CGI.
Yeah, it feels like it, but
Yeah.
then I think it's very much like remember Final Destination? I think it's 3. Is that the one with the
Roller coaster.
No, the car crash.
No, roller
That was
coaster
4.
is 3, and then
Car crash
2,
is 4.
2.
Car crash is 2 and 4.
What
Are
car
you talking
crash?
about NASCAR
Okay,
or freeway?
NASCAR.
NASCAR's
NASCAR's
4.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that where they
This
did
guy
it.
loves horror.
I know.
What is it? They did a lot of practical effects in that, but you can't tell.
Because
Like,
they drowned it
Hell
with
no.
CG.
Yeah, dude,
yeah,
they drowned
and
it
it looks
CG.
so
They're like,
awkward.
if you made me a steak that was like the perfect temperature, like just perfect, and I was like, just drown it in ketchup. That's
Pretty
basically
much,
what
yeah.
happened with
Yeah,
that
it-
movie.
It's
This-
most infamously the Thing remake, because in the Thing remake
It was
they
a
used
lot of it was practical.
a lot of it was practical, but they're
Oh,
like
really?
yeah,
I
the whole
don't
thing
get-
was practical.
I thought it was.
Because they were trying to.
It is all CG, yeah, but the
Just-
whole thing was
Same thing, ketchup over steak.
yeah, man. Like they did the whole thing practical, and then producers see it and they're like, it looks too fake, and they just like decided to just CGI the whole thing.
And that was 2011.
2011.
The CG still was not great.
Mhm.
It didn't get good until 2012 when Avatar came out.
What year did this come out? Now that I'm.
This is 2006.
2006.
Oh, yeah. It definitely feels like early 2000s, like the movie style and the humor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since we're in the spoiler territory, I'm gonna start talking about stuff I thought was hilarious. When freaking Brent threw the couch at Kayla,
Oh,
Grant,
Yeah.
freaking,
I thought that was super funny.
I lost my shit.
They
Like,
could have just killed her there and just left it at that, and I would accept that as fate.
I like the fact that she survived all of that, just have a couch thrown at her.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way they did that. I was like, that's hilarious. And at the very end, she just like pushes it off like it was like nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Damn, Kylie, like what are you taking at school?
Oh, do you consider so everyone who gets possessed in the movie would you call it possession? What would you call it? Like
Infection.
Infection.
because they're parasites, right?
Infected.
And they have a hive mind
yes, they did.
for an episode that was never released.
I'll
Leo?
get there someday.
Leo,
Yeah.
release it.
I'll get it.
He'll get it. He'll get it.
Release the
finish
Raymond
it.
cut. Get it
You
trending.
suck. No, what was I saying? For hive mind, I forgot.
Yeah. So what you're saying, I think what you were going to say was, do you consider them dead?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think once
Yeah.
they're infected, it changes their biology, like their
Yeah, because you see it go into the brain,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure if because I didn't originally understand why the first one was different than the babies, like the
The
parasites.
rest.
Yeah, but then they explained it later on in the movie
Yeah.
that he's basically like the queen,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess is he a he? It would just be like an it, right? It's
It's
just a
an it.
parasite.
Yeah.
So he's like the king of the hive, and he controls when one person's infected by one of the baby larvas, he gets to see and control everything. So at that point, Grant just was dead the moment he got right. Like he
Yes
had
and no.
because I think he just took over
Because
his body at that
it's a
point.
parasite, so it's
Hosting
using
off
him
it.
as his host,
Mm-hmm.
but he still has part of his like mentality, which is why he didn't go after his wife Starla.
I thought it was just like because he took the host, he just has the memory of it, and it was like that just was how much he actually cared about it, or not the like you know what I mean?
That's what I thought too.
I
Like-
like,
like
to
a-
think,
like
I
a
like to think a
puppet.
part of him was still there.
Yeah, no,
That's
me too.
exactly, yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
tell because in my memory from when I watched that first 5 minutes, I thought he was an a-hole. Like I remember watching the movie, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he's an a-hole. And then I watched it again, I was like, he wasn't that bad. Like
He just wanted to have sex with Elizabeth Banks.
No,
Can you
and he,
blame him?
even when
No,
he tried
just-
cheating on her, he's like, no, I have a
Yeah,
wife.
no, he's like,
No,
yeah,
but he
she's
walked
gonna worry
away.
about me.
he
Yeah.
he walked away. He
Yeah.
stopped it. He's like, no, I gotta go back home. You know, like
I'm sure he's not the greatest character, but I remember
he's
being
not the
like,
greatest character, but he has some sort of
Redeeming qualities.
somewhat of redeeming quality. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and then I know for like a brief moment early on in the movie they explained like, oh yeah, like people were like, oh, she's a gold digger, but then
Yeah.
he's like, what would you have done if like your parents died? I forgot what specific quote was,
yeah.
but I was like, I don't know how much this relationship actually is like a real relationship,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but it definitely seemed like it later in like mid and later in the
Yeah.
movie because she went out of her way to try to save him
I think it was
Yeah, I
like,
know.
like a couple times, and I was
like
like,
a knight in shining armor type deal.
what was?
Like their relationship, where he was like, "Oh, hey, like, you know, you're in need or whatever, so like let me help you," and then she like fell in love with him, just from their relationship. from
Yeah,
then on.
it was very.
I don't think it was like, "Oh, well, he's got a nice car and he's got money." I'll
Yeah.
spare him for that
She's
because she wanted to be an
Yeah.
actress originally, so like, why not like use his money to do that?
Mhm.
But instead, she was a school teacher.
yeah.
You know, so she stayed at home with her husband.
Yeah, and I might be
So
overthinking
I think
it
was
for
a,
the
I think
movie,
it was a
but
genuine relationship.
Right, exactly.
but that's how I felt when watching it. So I was
It
like,
felt like that in the very beginning, you know,
Yeah.
because she was like extremely uninterested in him. But as the movie goes on, like you can tell that she cares for him.
Mhm.
Even after he goes berserk, she goes out of her way, puts herself in danger to try to save him. She could have just been like, just shoot him, kill him,
Yeah.
you know, get rid of him, you know.
I mean, she was like, "Oh, you need to keep him alive so we can find the missing girl," which was Brenda.
yeah,
Which they found there.
They did
Can we talk about
a
that?
lot of her.
yeah, go for it. Those are all the things I mainly liked about the movie. That's why I just want to touch on them. So
That's,
you
one
guys,
of that's one of the scenes I remember the most watching as a kid.
the Brenda scene.
The Brenda scene.
Yeah, that's the only part that's notorious that I knew that was spoiled for me.
Yeah.
Because it was like,
It's everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of crazy because it's like it's so well done and that model is so disgusting. You
yeah,
know?
it's rendered like amazingly.
It's I don't think it's rendered because the Brenda
It's physical.
Yeah, the Brenda
yeah,
like
they just
blob,
called it. They just called it
it's-
rendering.
Yeah, no, but when she rips apart and like she explodes and all the worms come out,
All the slithers.
that was nuts.
No, that line was great.
It hurts, bitch.
No, those motherfuckers are ripping me apart. Like that shit was
She's
hilarious.
like, why is she moving? Stop moving.
I think from the special features there was like a mention of like the actual prosthetic, the actual big thing that they created for that scene
That's
was so
nuts.
big they had to put it in a hangar
Oh my
like
yeah,
god,
plane
plane
hanger
hanger.
in airport.
Finger, yeah.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
that thing was pretty large.
The actress is probably crying.
What was I gonna say? There was something about that scene that I was gonna tell you guys, but I can't quite remember it.
Is it the exploding part or is it the?
No idea.
No, okay.
If it comes back to me, I'll bring it up. If not, then it'll.
Well, go ahead. What else?
a lost thought.
What other portions did you like about the movie?
The bathroom scene. The scene that the scene that you didn't want to talk about.
It's not that I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to get into spoilers.
Not the spoilers yet.
Yeah,
Now
okay.
we're free for all. So
Now free for all. Okay.
yeah.
The scene where like what's her name again?
Kylie?
When she's taking a bath and the worm kind of like jumps in the bathtub and it's
Yeah.
slowly swimming to her. Like you can imagine the worst things in the world, you know, because obviously this worm is trying to get inside of her, you know.
Well, it's trying to get to the brain.
I know exactly, but it's like in the bathtub, you know, like I feel like that's one of your most vulnerable
It
places
is.
to be. And in this kind of movie, it's like it's the worst place to be, you know. But it was one of the coolest scenes because yeah, like it starts trying to get in her mouth and everything, and then you see like kind of like a vision of like what these things did in other planets, and it's like this
that,
is
that
awesome.
was that was a cool glimpse.
Yeah.
That made me
Yeah.
like the movie like just that much more.
It's like just
I was
added
like-
so much lore to the
Yes, it
story,
did.
and it's like what? Like these little things took over.
So did you
entire
notice? You
planet?
notice what that was referencing?
No.
Is Freddy Krueger?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
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 that
yeah.
yeah, it was
the
too
ghost,
obvious.
yeah. I thought you
was
meant like
saying.
the Flash, like the vision
Yeah, it was,
scene.
it was the Hive. It came out like 12 years later.
Yeah, I know.
No,
No,
like
yeah,
6
it was.
years
It was.
later.
This movie had a lot of
14.
references. Obviously the Freddy
Which-
Krueger, that was one of them. I don't know if you guys noticed in the very beginning, the Evil Dead reference.
Yeah,
That was extremely Evil Dead.
Which one?
like the opening.
The opening
just
intro,
when you go
like
into the woods.
this right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought
uh,
okay, the camera cinematography basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like it's just moving kind of like all crazy, and then it kind of leads to the egg. And obviously it was inspired a lot by The Thing as well. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing the crazy effects made me think of the thing.
oh yeah.
But then I also can't be thinking of what was that movie called, where they had the shuckling. What is it called?
The shuckling?
Oh goodness, it's gonna come back to me. It might be. I'll figure it out. I'll try to figure it out.
This is the episode where we think of things and we forget about them.
What is that called?
What's the movie called again?
Shit.
Who would write James Gunn?
While you think of that, should we take a small
I don't think we need to.
tour? No, we good on time?
Yeah, we still got a couple minutes. Go for it.
Awesome. This movie tanked when it came out in the box office, man.
I could imagine.
Well, I mean,
tanked.
it was up against like The Omen. So if someone's like, "Oh, let's go see a scary movie," are you gonna see Slug,
You want to say? You want to
or
know?
do you want to see The Devil?
You know what movies? You know what movies came out this same year? Let me read them to you. Pirates of the Caribbean 2,
Never heard of
Cars,
it. Cars?
Cars, yeah,
You're
X
talking about
Men,
the one with Rascal Flatts?
yeah,
All right.
that's the one. X Men: Last Stand, The Da Vinci Code, Superman Returns, Ice Age 2, Happy Feet. Like, this movie was completely overshadowed by all of them. And if you want to put them in scary movies, this is the same year that The Grudge 2 came out and Silent Hill came out, which doesn't say much because those movies also kind of
They were
tanked.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it overshadowed this one like crazy,
I think-
you know?
I think Silent Hill got better with age.
Oh, dude.
Were you watching?
On it.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
because I remember liking it more like after the fact.
I remember watching Silent Hill Revelations
Oh
on
yeah.
my 3DS because I had Netflix on it, and I was like, I wonder if I could make this in 3D. You can't.
You can't. Also, the Hills of Eyes remake came out this same year. Almost the
Oh,
same
yeah.
month. It came out in June.
That was my first horror movie, like horror movie.
Right.
Hills Have Eyes.
Hills of Eyes.
Yeah, I didn't see it in
It's-
theaters. I saw it on a DVD that we had at the house.
I guess this is my personality now. I own it on DVD. It has to be.
And also, obviously, the Texas Chainsaw remake also came
Which
out this year.
one?
The New Beginning or The Beginning.
Not the one
Uh,
with Jessica Biel, right? Because that was 2003.
No,
It's out to
No,
get
no.
him, cuz.
No, definitely not.
it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The New Beginning. I think it was the Rob Zombie remake, or that was 2003.
Rob Zombie didn't make.
Oh yeah, you're right. He made the Halloween remake. Gotcha.
So anyway, speaking of Rob Zombie, so Grant's character is like, oh, I got a bee sting. Like that's all it is. I went to the
Oh
doctor
yeah,
about
it's
it.
ridiculous.
I went to the doctor about it. He gave me medicine. I'll be fine. So it looks bad. Like he's like mold. Like
He's the
become-
fly kind
he
of.
looks like a
scene,
peanut. Yeah.
Yeah, it did remind me of The Fly.
So
like a fucking
Elizabeth
peanut.
Banks' character Starla, she calls the doctor. He's like, "Hey, about the medicine you gave him, I don't think it's working. It's getting worse." And he goes, "Oh, medicine? Like I haven't seen your husband in a year." That was Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie was the doctor.
What?
That was a
Oh, on
small
the phone?
cameo.
Oh, that's
Oh,
sick.
look at that. Okay.
What? That's I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of cool cameos in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, well, Rob Zombie already had a career going at that time, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these actors, they were just barely starting around this time.
Yeah.
What's
Because
her
what
name?
would you say Rob Zombie's break was for like horror? Would you say House of a Thousand Corpses?
House of a Thousand Gold. Yeah, by
which
far.
came out like a couple years
2000 and-
after this one.
3?
2003.
Yeah.
I see Rainn Wilson. And I'm like, oh, like, well, it must be recent.
No,
'Cause he was in The
House
Office.
of a Thousand came out in 2003, I think, and then The Devil's Rejects came out in 2007.
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah.
So he was already like working his way as being an
Oh, yeah.
established like horror icon.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And he was already famous before that with this band.
Yeah.
But what's her name? Jenna Fisher?
Yeah.
Like she just started in The Office around this time. Like she was just barely starting in The Office. I think The Office came out in 2006 as well.
I don't know because
Yeah.
I wasn't a big. I like The Office, but I've never like
Yeah.
watched it all the way through.
I saw like a quick trailer before I watched the movie, and I was like, "Oh, it's a girl from The Office." That's all I know her from. I'm sure she's been in other
I didn't
things.
even know she was in this movie. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, sadly this movie got overshadowed by a bunch of other movies.
Also, I don't know if I said in the last episode where I was like, "Oh, Scarlett Johansson's in this movie."
Yeah, it was a Coraline when we talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, she was in Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah. Okay.
I
This
remember
movie
it was,
reminded
Well,
me
I
a
was
lot
saying
of
like,
that.
isn't
I
Jean
remember-
Grey in this movie?
I remember it was wacky.
I could have sworn that the wife was the actress who played Jean Grey in the X-Men films, but I was completely wrong, so I don't know what I was thinking of. And I figured
you
out.
and me both. I thought Dakota Fanning was in this. So.
I
Like,
think I
what?
said
Oh,
wrong.
blonde girl. That must be her.
Dude, whatever, man.
I remember what this movie reminded me of because I had to look it up. The Society. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah. I've seen
Oh.
That's-
or
or
the
is it
society
like-
or the faculty.
No, the Society where they're like, commence the shuckling. No,
Oh,
you know what
No.
I'm
I
talking
mean,
about.
that
If
scene
you watch Dead
specifically-
Me, you probably know.
that scene specifically, but it also reminds me of the faculty. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's the Faculty.
This is almost like the same movie.
Yeah. So yeah, actually that's that.
Now that you mentioned it,
Yeah.
How are we on time, Raymond?
I think
have
it's
no
time
idea.
to take
my,
a break.
My timer never started, but let's take a break and then I want to talk about the characters.
Right on.
Let's do that. So we're back. Before we get into characters, I have a scene that I want to talk about, which is it's fun. You know, it was cool. I thought it was cool. It wasn't. Probably you guys don't even notice the scene when what's Merle's character's name again? What's his name?
Grant.
When Grant goes to see Brenda, right? When he's already infected, he goes to like her home to see her.
Mhm.
Did you guys notice what movie she was watching?
I recognized it, but I didn't know the name.
You don't know the name?
100%. I've seen that movie.
We've seen that movie. I don't know if you remember, but The Toxic Avenger,
That's what it was. It was yeah.
which is a crazy body. I wouldn't say body horror, but it
More
does.
Cronenberg, like a lot of.
Yeah, it's a gory movie. It's a gore on top, like everybody. It's a gore movie.
Yeah.
Out of all the movies, like I think that's like top notch, like up there. But
That's one of those wild movies where you're like, I've got to be comfortable with you before we watch this together.
yeah, dude. Oh my
Like,
god,
there's,
yeah.
the scene where they're just driving in a car and they're just hitting people.
You remember that?
Yeah, they're just hitting people and they're like, "Oh man, like, hey, you want to do this?" He's like, "Nah, I got church in the morning. I gotta go."
No. Well, yeah, I don't think we should.
I know I've
talk
heard
about
of
that. Yeah,
Toxic
okay.
Avenger. I don't think I've watched it though.
No.
Yeah, I haven't seen
They
it. I know of
recently-
it though.
Okay. Because they recently remade it. Actually, did you know that?
They remade it or they're
They're
remaking
going
it?
to remake it.
They're already remaking it.
Yeah.
Like it already came out.
I didn't
Oh,
that
And you
came
know
out.
who's the Toxic Avenger?
Chris Pratt.
No,
all
even
this
worse.
build up.
No, it's 'cause I don't remember the actor's name. What's the actor from
Well,
Game of Thrones?
Jon Snow?
No,
Oh,
Peter Dinklage.
yeah, Peter Dinklage.
He plays the Toxic Avenger. So it's like, what?
He was also an elf.
It's,
Peter Dinklage is a badass.
he is cool. He is cool. It's just
Yeah, no, I'm
kinda
just
weird
thinking
why
about
they
him
would
as a
cast
character,
him.
like because he was also in a few recent movies, but yeah, he's a cool actor.
Enough of the little people, like racism. So go ahead, Raymond. Go for
What?
I was gonna say something, but I don't want to get us
No,
canceled.
since we're talking about
we
like,
don't discriminate
references,
against little people.
We don't.
We don't.
Since you mentioned about the
On
movie,
camera.
the movie on the TV screen,
Yeah.
Goosebumps. The little girls are reading Goosebumps inside their beds before they went to bed.
Oh, is she?
yeah,
Did you see what?
that's what I was
book it
trying. I
was?
was trying to find it. What is? Because it's the one with the scientist. I know because I was watching with my older brother, and he's like,
I
"Oh,
don't
that's the
know.
one with the scientist," and I was like, "I didn't
Oh,
watch.
I don't know.
I didn't read enough Goosebumps as a kid."
Because it's kind of cool because
Uncultured.
when I saw that,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's Toxic Avenger. Like, it makes perfect sense because this movie's already like a body horror movie.
Yeah.
And Toxic Avenger, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, that
A
movie
perfect
that
example
movie's
of-
banned in a lot of countries because of that,
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into characters.
Yeah. So starting off with first character, one of the first characters we meet is Grant. His name is Grant. Grant, played by Michael Rooker. He's basically the catalyst to starting the movie.
Patient Zero.
Yeah. What's the word? Cucked.
No, he wasn't. He was just.
He got blue balled, so
There
he
you
decided
go.
to go
Thank
for
you.
a
That's
walk.
better.
And then he meets up with this girl who's like had the hots for him when she was like little.
Which I thought it was a joke. I was like, trying to tell me you had the hots for this guy and you still do more than ever? Like,
Have you seen him?
I mean,
He's no Daryl Dixon, but he's as close as we
bro.
can get.
It just seemed, I don't know, man. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, she's an actress that they paid her a lot to be here. In this
I
movie.
thought-
he seemed like he was well loved by the community. They call everybody killer. He seemed like a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he did.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was like the wealthy guy in town,
Yeah.
and everyone was like be on good terms with him.
Oh, that's Old Man Grant. Like, he gives out the best candy on Halloween.
I honestly thought he was gonna have more of an issue with what would you call it, impregnating scene.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna have a lot of issue with that. What did you tell me earlier before we started recording? You're like, they originally were gonna have one
so
tentacle, but it was too phallic.
It was a tendril.
Tendril.
Is the difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They literally.
So he was supposed to have one coming out of his stomach. They're like, that looks too phallic. We'll give him two.
Okay.
And
It
then
did make a difference
It kind of played
because
into the story as well because they mentioned like, oh, unless you're stabbed by both, you won't become one of the breeders.
I also enjoyed that they made males into breeders as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
later in the
good.
movie when you start seeing more breeders, I was like, then you start seeing the guys and girls, I'm like, all right, it's not
Good
so-
inclusion.
Equality since
Yeah.
2006.
Good inclusion. But yeah, no, when that whole scene started happening, I was like, oh, here we fucking go again. You know, like
Because you haven't seen it since you were younger. So
I haven't.
was like,
I actually don't remember that scene at all.
I thought that was the scene you guys were pausing it for your families.
No,
No.
oh no, the scene that I was talking about was the Brenda scene, the blob scene.
Like, talk about inflation.
No, but yeah, that scene I was like, oh, here we go again. You know, like, but then like as things go, I was like, okay, I guess he's not really, you know, but he is infecting her, you know, and yeah, you see the two tentacles go into her stomach,
yeah.
and like she's like, you know, like so it's like in a way it's like, sure, you know, but it's like.
Since you bring that up, I like that when she's a big blob, she's like, how's my baby? And they just like had to include that the baby's okay.
Yeah, because the whole time I was like,
Because I was like, oh, the baby's just dead. She just
Yeah.
ate the baby.
no, I didn't think she ate
Yeah.
the baby, but I was like, they probably just left her.
left
like
the
they just
baby.
left the baby
Oh, yeah.
and they
'Cause
Yeah, I thought about the baby too. I was like, wait, shit, she had a baby.
in my head, because she was like, I'm so hungry, and she's just eating meat. I was like, oh yeah, she ate her baby. Like,
Yeah, me too.
maybe
I
I'm
thought,
just
I thought
messed
that
up.
too. No, I thought
That's
that
what
too.
I thought.
And I was like, damn, that's dark. She ate her baby. And I'm pretty sure they're not gonna say it, but I'm pretty sure she did. You know?
Yeah, and then she's like, how's the baby? Like, that's the first thing out of her mouth. I was like, oh, the baby lived. Okay,
He's
cool.
fine.
So not too dark.
But anyway, he gets infected by the parasitic entity, and he starts off the whole movie. Other character is Elizabeth Banks' character. Her name is Starla. She's a school teacher. The hot one everybody had in high school. Everybody wanted to sleep with her. I don't know if you caught that. All the kids were like,
Yeah, of course I caught it.
oogling her.
Yeah, they're literally drawing her.
You have Nathan Fillion's character. His name is Bill Party. He's basically the town sheriff. He has had a crush on Starla since they were kids, and he just never pursued it because that's Grant's gal.
And he also ratted her out to her dad when she was trying to like run away to Hollywood.
When she was 12. Yeah,
Yeah, when she was 12.
the responsible thing to do.
What's the word? Narc.
Narc. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and then I guess Kylie, she was introduced earlier while they were at school with the guys like drawing.
Oh, that was her.
I'm pretty sure it was her
Oh.
because I was like, why did they just introduce this family randomly? And I was like, I'm sure they established her earlier. I think that was her.
I thought they
Makes
just.
sense.
But she sees him drawing, she like,
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
I remember just thinking, oh, it's because they're like the farm is near the animals that's going to attack is nearby, so like introducing this family to be basically.
no, yeah,
Fodder.
I don't
That's
think
how
they
I
made
took
her
it.
as an important character as she was.
Yeah, she was way
without
more
introduction.
important than I expected.
Mhm.
But yeah, other than that, there's a couple of side characters on there. One of the notable ones was Jack, which was the mayor.
Yeah,
The one that had the little freak out about the Mr. Pibb in the car.
Oh yeah.
He had a couple, like he was clearly there for comic relief.
Yeah.
And it worked in some scenes. Specifically, the Mr. Pibb part made me laugh.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get right on that.
Kylie was like,
Very, very
"Oh, like,
relatable.
I was infected for a little bit. I saw how this thing functions. You know, it's a hive mind. You know, it goes plan to plan, destroying everything, and this
yeah,
and
it's just
that.
super pivotal to
and
the
then,
story.
And then he's like, "Oh damn, like I'd be super fascinated if I wasn't crapping my pants right now."
Yeah.
And one of my favorite scenes was he becomes a breeder.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
And then as Bill comes in, and he's like, "Bill, I need you to kill me," and he just shoots him. He just like steps over and walks away.
Unceremoniously, just
Yeah.
blah, without hesitation.
He got what he asked for.
So finishing off, this movie. how would you guys think if this movie, now that we live in a decade full of like reboots and remakes, how would you think? Would you think they should remake this or maybe give it a sequel?
I think it does. It doesn't need a remake because it does exactly what it's meant to do.
Right.
But
Well,
if,
I
it
know-
would be
I-
super sick to see everyone return
I know
and have
you-
James Gunn do it.
I know you always kind of go the extra mile when we watch these movies. Did you see the end credit scene?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, potentially you could make a sequel
sequel.
to this movie.
Yeah.
You could, but you're just gonna have to like, for the story to work. Like you can't just be like, well, I mean, I guess you could say it's like, oh, it's still 2006, That'd be kind of cool though, and it's like, especially if you have James Gunn coming back. Like, look at all the movies he has under his belt now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
look at him
but he's-
evolve
he's-
now, dude.
Guardians of the Galaxies 1 through 3.
Oh
The
God.
upcoming Superman movie
Practical
that was originally
effects,
called
dude.
Superman Legacy. Now it has earned the title Superman.
Oh really?
They changed the name. It's just Superman.
Oh cool.
So there you go.
I will say this. I don't know when it originally emerged, but because he did get fired from Disney for a short period of time.
Yeah. That was
I remember that.
basically what I thought
due
of
to
when
a
I
controversial tweet. Do you know what the tweet said?
Yeah.
What was
Can't say it. You can't say it in the air.
Ah, okay.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
All I was gonna say was Donald was obviously the clear choice because he doesn't wear pants. But
Let's just say it was a tweet about
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Against
They can look it up.
Goofy and Donald.
no, just Goofy.
Just Goofy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Whereas, like I said, Donald is the obvious choice because he doesn't wear pants.
I guess. Anyways, yeah. Go on.
He was asking for it. Anyway, yeah. So I would say that he probably sent that around like this time.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
You're right.
This is probably around the.
That's
time
what
when
I
he
was
sending out
thinking
these
about when watching the
controversial
movie.
tweets.
I was like,
Oh,
this is probably
you're
around that same
right.
time. That was like, yeah. Because I mean, I get it. Yeah. We won't go into that. I won't even touch that subject.
Anyway, who was your favorite character in the movie?
Nathan Fillion.
What was his name?
I don't know. The cop.
Sheriff. Yeah.
I'm kind of torn, but I think I'm gonna choose. Was it Kayla? She was
Kylie,
Kylie. Yeah, she was cool. She was cool. Yeah, she was just such a pivotal character, and she had like some of the funniest moments.
She had the best like horror segment
Are you talking about?
for herself.
The teenager.
Yeah, but okay.
She had the best horror segment for herself.
Yeah.
And then she had some of the best comic relief segments.
Yes.
But I
That
would
one
say my
scene?
favorite character was Bill. Like when he gets attacked by the deer, because the whole time he's like advocating, he's like, "Oh, it's so
Yeah, he was
it's so
funny.
horrible that they come here once a year and just shoot these deer."
Yeah.
And he sees the deer and he sees it like get infected and he just like leaves it, and that deer comes back and like starts attacking him, and then the girl saves him,
Yeah, exactly.
and he goes, "Hey, thanks for saving me." He's like, "But when I tell that story, like I saved you," and she's like, "Okay."
and
if we live.
and then it comes full circle at the end,
Yeah,
and it's
Yeah.
just
they're
like,
walking away. He's like, "Hey, tell her about that deer I saved you from."
and she goes with it.
He's
That's
like,
that's just like that's
he saved me from a deer. He's like, "Oh, that's nice."
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he was infected.
But
Oh.
one of the lines that I enjoyed the most was he's like, "What do we do now?" He's like, "Well, we're probably gonna end up becoming one of those things." And she's like, "Well, that's optimistic." He's like, I'm just being realistic."
This movie did remind me a lot of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh yeah.
Right, I was like this because that movie was. I just watched that recently, and that was
Really?
for the first time.
The 2006 one? Or, no, wait, that came out
No.
in 2006.
It was the 80s.
Oh, the 80s one? Oh, the 80s one
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, I was really good. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So watching this was like it reminded me of that.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So that's neat.
That's
Do
cool.
you think this movie was based off The Faculty? Because that came out in 1998.
No,
Nah.
I wouldn't.
Nah.
Mean, I'm sure they just. It's a pretty generic concept. Thing lands on Earth. Its parasite starts taking over people.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean,
like-
same thing. Like the thing.
The-
This one was obviously played for more comedic relief.
Yeah.
This is more for adult audiences where faculty's like teenagers because it's
Yeah.
literally like it's the teachers.
The teachers are after us, man.
I feel like now, going back to the whole reboot thing,
uh-huh.
I feel like it would be really great if this movie gets a sequel with James Gunn involved now, because like with his experience and like having multiple different characters in a movie and each one of them being like special, like giving them enough screen time to shine and all that. I feel like a sequel
Like
with this
everyone
movie,
was
would-
concerned about Superman because they're like, "Oh, there's too many characters," and he's like, "He's gonna make it work."
he's
Like,
gonna make it work
He's made
perfectly,
all
dude.
of the Guardians movies work.
A
there's
great
so
Suicide
many, yeah.
Squad movie too,
The
like
good one.
the good one, yeah, exactly.
The first one.
I was like,
No, yeah, so it's like I feel like
That was a
man.
joke. If you guys didn't.
thank you for clarifying because
I'm like, give it to
I'm
Netflix,
gullible.
man. Give it to Netflix. They should make it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this movie is perfect. It was like a perfect time capsule. It set out what it needs to
Yeah.
If they were to
I know
remake
you
it,
said it was a cult classic, but I hear nobody talk about this movie ever.
I just know I've always
Really?
seen it like on streaming services.
Yeah.
That's why when we found out it was like nowhere but Tubi, we're like, okay.
We fucked up. We gotta go
Nah,
back and
I was
change
gonna have to
the-
go. I thought I was gonna go buy a hard copy before.
No, man.
No, I was like, I'm gonna go look for it.
Oh,
But I do want to say, just before we wrap this up, I'm really glad the Roulette series put this movie next to The Bay, because I feel like
the
they
Bay's
have
next.
The Bay.
Is next.
I'm pretty sure, yeah,
Oh shit.
because they have similar vibes. With this one's played for comedic value, and the other one is straight like,
Yeah.
what if this was real?
Oh man.
Yeah,
here we go.
I'm most excited to see your reaction on that
I
episode.
haven't seen it. Who chose the Bay?
I did.
Hell.
Yeah.
I specifically
Please
chose
check
that
it out.
for him.
Check out both movies.
I curated this movie for him specifically
For who,
Yeah.
me or him?
No,
For
for
him.
me,
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
years and years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. I won't talk about it because it's just for that episode. So cool. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the episode. If you didn't, you can leave a dislike, and if you liked it, like it. Hopefully, we earned that.
Just say how it is. If you didn't like this episode, go to hell.
Or just tell us. Be honest. You know.
Yeah.
We
Comment down
appreciate
below. We like the interaction.
It hurts, but-
yeah.
I'll reply a week late. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, if you guys want me to cry to sleep, say you didn't like this video. But, that's fine too.
all right.
You lose calories while crying. I learned that much.
Cool.
Soon we'll talk about having our episodes on Spotify too, because we gotta figure that situation out too eventually.
Also, I know I said it in private, but just so it's on air, I want our next series to be creature features.
Ah.
So we each pick one creature feature. We could do it as a roulette. We could flip a coin, whatever. But
Oh, man.
creature features for the next movies.
The next roulette, that should be fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't think 3 movies each, because I don't think we can talk about creature features.
I don't think
for,
we're halfway
like,
done
3
with this
months.
roulette.
I can find.
We got 2 more movies.
No way.
Yeah.
We're
Oh,
almost
shit.
done.
We got The Bay and we have Wreck.
Oh, I thought we had a lot more than that.
Nope, we got to catch up.
Wow.
If we do that, I would like to do one or two from us, or just one from each of us.
I think 1.
All right, one
maybe
from
we'll
each
do
of
2
us.
if we can
one,
figure it out.
One from each of us, and then 2 from the audience.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. Okay.
Put something in there that'll give us nightmares, or make us regret watching it.
Yeah. It'll give us a reason to hate you for a reason.
All right, thank you for listening.
This has been Midnight Mayhem. Don't forget to follow us on our socials, which is going to be Midnight Mayhem at Instagram as well as on Twitter.
Horror podcast too.
Yay!
Hey.
I'm so glad we were able to get that domain. It was up for grabs.
I know, for real. We bought it. Anyways.
Better hurry up and get on that.
All right. All right. We'll see you guys later.
All right, thank you for watching. Bye.
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 Love you.